Probably like
more than doubled.
oh no, it's like
pulling up the
it's like
spreadsheet.
no, like when we started, Evergarden was like
I definitely wasn't doing that.
I really saw Perry move his hand to find the spreadsheet. I'm not even kidding.
when Evergarden started, it was probably like 30 people.
Welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion.
And I'm not Raptor. You almost hit me with your hand. How dare you?
How dare.
Anyway, we have cool people today. Yeah, we have cool people today.
Oh, we'll start over here, then work our way that way.
Oh, with me?
Yeah, you.
Hi, I'm Ender Empress. I'm a co-head of media.
Hi, I'm Trudius. I am head of Observer Theater.
Hi, I'm Perry. I'm the head of the operations team.
Hey yo, I'm Jinxie. I am the head manager of Radiance Lounge.
And hi, I'm Loch Ness. I'm head manager of creative department.
Oh, well, thank you all for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to sit here and meet you. So we'll start with.
And if it wasn't clear, they're from Luxa Nova. None of them mentioned that, but they're from Luxa Nova.
Well, to be honest, please ignore the giant Luxa Nova sign behind us.
I was like, should I say?
Okay, yeah, I didn't know you could see that. Anyway,
Just saying our team lead.
We really are. We rarely. I had to say that for like a thing I had to record today, and I just it felt so weird to say the full thing. Lux
so
Nova's
unnatural.
Radiance Lounge. It just feels like so much.
Oh, so we'll start with the meat and potatoes of the conversation then to start off. What are you known for? How'd you get started? What got you all into VRChat? Start this way and move that way? Oop.
Well, we're as a whole, or
Yes.
like all of us. Okay.
Yes.
Well, we're known for events. Obviously, it's in the name. We started with Observa, which was it was called that something else before, but our main stage show is what we kind of kicked everything off with. And then we also have obviously Radiance Lounge, which was okay, we have the stage show, but that happens only a little bit, right? We have weeks in between and people want something else, something casual. So how can we fill that void, but do it in a really cool way, make it something not just like you can't tell your mom about, you know? So that's what we're known for.
Oh. Now,
Yeah, I would say, building on top of that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Keep it going. Sorry, I was gonna say keep it going.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know. Building on top of that is gonna be fun because by the time it gets to Locke, he's not gonna have anything to add. It's gonna be great. We have to sabotage him, everybody. I'd say building on top of that, one of our always main goals is immersion and pushing boundaries. I think when this group started several years back, that was one of our main goals and has continued to do so. I think Radiance Lounge's structure is a good reflection of that as well, of like, how do we do a more party kind of adult oriented environment, but do it in a way that's new and different and not just the kind of repeat copy paste that a lot of groups do. And, you know, create something special in the space because we have such good logistics in my mind that it really kind of enables us to do really cool and special things. Right, logistics guy? You like that tee up?
Yeah, you set me up real good. Time to absolutely crush everything Locke has to say because I got the meat and potatoes. All right. Yeah, so I guess I'll talk a little bit about kind of everything that goes behind the scenes because we can have all the performers, we can have all the staff, but at the end of the day, that's only half of the equation. And so I think part of what got us to where we are, you know, the level of things we can pull off, the opportunities we get, is the teams that you don't see on stage that organize all the stuff in the background, keep track of all the information, you know, make sure staff have permissions they need, work on tools and stuff that would just, you know, quality of life things, making, in the case of ops, literally making the visuals and lighting work for shows, because otherwise you just have a performer on stage with whatever they bring. But because we have people in the background supporting that, we can add another layer on top, and that just brings it all out. Yeah.
Keeping
Ratings?
track of like 100 some people.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
of course.
For that.
Yeah, the numbers kind of escape me sometimes.
I think something else that really makes us stand out and be sort of unique is that everything we do is sort of what I would describe as like an iterative process. So nothing is ever like the final result. What Radiance is right now might not be exactly what Radiance is like a year from now. And what Observa is right now might not be exactly what it is a year from now. We're constantly asking like, what can we do better? What can we change? What can we do differently to make things more unique and really like make it us? So we're constantly trying to push the bounds of what we specifically do, which I know Trudy has touched on, but I think it's a really, really important thing to emphasize. And Radiance specifically is definitely going through a lot of that right now, kind of trying to find its own vibe and its own sort of unique footing.
And my team tried to sabotage me very, very hard, and they failed miserably. I hate to mention that to you guys, but it's my task as creative to lead my team in taking every single thing these guys just said and put it all into one place. Creative is definitely the unifying body, one of the unifying bodies of Luxa Nova. I will give credit to Ops for this as well, where we have to take every single team, every single person, think about each and every one, get everyone in the same spot, get a map that supports each and every single one of their functions, and then run a show for attendance as well. So we have to take care of every single person in our server and then all the guests at the same time. And doing that all at once within a really tight time period is something that we specialize in, and I think we do a pretty good job at.
Oh, so I would like to ask, what is a bit of a layered question, but what got Luxa Nova started? What got each of you into VRChat? And also, let us know some of like your first experiences or some of the first shows of Luxa Nova back when it started as well.
Well, so early. Oh God, what was it, Trudy? 2020.
2023, April 23.
3. Yeah, I was like 2. I started in the space at 22, but at 23, we were under a different group. Observa was called Evergarden. Radiance was called, I forget at this point actually. Frolic. And there was a creative shift, and we became our own group. And then we suddenly were like, shoot, we have a lot of ideas. How do we become something that all 100 some of us are like ownership in our minds and in our hearts of, while being able to be creative and free to kind of follow our paths in that way. And somehow we all really locked in. We had a huge democratic process. We were like, I may have championed purple as a real good color to go for. I won't say there wasn't campaigning. I was campaigning. But we all kind of came together and created an identity. We became Luxa Nova. We became Observa Theater and Radiance Lounge. We got our colors and the vibe we wanted to put out. And all of that, like Jinx said, has been an iterative process. Eventually, we added media as a team. We had people taking pictures, but we never had like, okay, well, what do we want to do with the pictures? What do we want to do with the videos? I have streamed it for as long as I can remember, but like, where do we want to do? What do we want to do with that stream? Like, how do we want to make it more interesting? Creative is our baby team, our newest darlings, because we decided, like Trudy said earlier, lore was a huge thing that we really wanted to delve into. It really wasn't something we had started to look into until right before we became our own thing, and it was suddenly we're like, oh my God, let's make it interesting. So creative is avatars. We have characters that some of our members play on stage. We push a story, so we have our lore team, and then obviously we're in a Observa theater, and if you visit Radiant Lounge, we have worlds. So we kind of became suddenly, instead of 1 and 2 venues, we became 5 teams working together, and it's kind of crazy. What got me into VRChat? It was pre-pandemic. It was pre-pandemic, and I was super interested in VR from like Game Boy, like those stupid little, you remember the Game Man whatever ones, and I was like,
What
I
the hell
want
are
to
you
do that.
talking about?
You don't remember? They
Are
had
you
those
talking
big
about-
power armor straps. I'm older. Am I older than you? No, we're the same age.
Wait,
What are you
are you
talking
talking about
about?
like the original
You
like
going like a
Nintendo attempt at
No, it
the
was
at like
SNES.
VR?
They had the really old like Power Boy. It was like
SNES,
Glover
what are you,
thing.
Remember the
70?
Virtual Boy?
What the hell?
Virtual, yeah. And
The
I, look,
Virtual Boy.
is.
The thing that made everyone sick.
I wanted to get into VR because I thought it was something that was going to be crazy, and I wanted to do that. I tried to make video games when I was younger. It didn't work out. But now here I am again in VR, and this has been something I didn't see coming when I started VR, but something I'd always wanted, and it was pushing the boundaries. Because I see a huge, amazing future in virtual reality. And the technology has not always been there, obviously. I feel like we've just entered an age where we can really do some crazy stuff. And of course, our team is pushing it every single day. It just keeps getting better. So,
Yeah.
a
So
lot.
for me, getting in, I'm still blown away. Whatever the hell you just said about body armor, whatever.
Whatever.
Foreign. I'd never heard of that in my life. So for me, getting into VR was 2021. I was burned the hell out on another game called Planet Side. Smile. Teeing you up soon, TM.
Yeah.
And I got into VRChat to kind of de-stress, go to some raids, all that kind of stuff. I really liked Club Orion and that whole environment. And then from there, I eventually found some groups, yada, 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 made some contacts, eventually got approached to help run what was going to become Evergarden. I said no, had some discussions, eventually changed my mind and said yes. And then we kind of went off to the races from there. It was very much trying to do something different at the time. There wasn't really there were a few successful stage performance venues, but there wasn't anyone doing it in the way we were aiming to do it and in the structure we were aiming to do it, which I do think has an impact on the I don't want to say meta of the space, but I've seen other groups pop up mimicking our structure. So clearly we're doing something right and trailblazing in some capacity. And then over time that has scaled and grown since. For me, I really like the leadership aspect of what we do here and the opportunities given to me on that front. I'm very big on leadership. I think it's very important. I really enjoy doing it. I've enjoyed it in previous games and I enjoyed it switching into here. I initially was approached to be a dance captain in another venue and I actually turned it down because I was like, this isn't quite what I'm wanting. And I know there's something better down the line. And I'm so glad I waited to make that call on committing to something because this has just been phenomenal experience and a great environment that I've been able to drag other friends from other communities into as well. Speaking of,
Hi.
that's 2 for 2
It is
TMs, baby.
I,
2
the
for
other
2
friend
TMs. Let's
who
go,
got
baby.
dragged into. Yeah. So how I got into this, I played briefly in like 2017, maybe for like a week. 2017, 2018. I think it was when the Uganda Knuckles thing happened, and then I just stopped playing immediately after that.
I forgot about that.
Didn't do anything with the game until like 2021, 2022. At which point a bunch of guys in the pre-Planet Side group that we both came from were just having a fun night in, and we were like, okay, this is kind of cool. Played it for a bit. He bought in way more than I did over really quick. And I got the how I got involved in all of this. I got the shortest story of anyone here. This guy drafted me. As the long and short of it. I'm not even kidding. I was at work. I got a message saying, "Oh shoot, host sick. I got a host. You're up, bud." And I'm like, "Okay, here we go."
I intentionally threw Planet Side tone on it to set that mood of like man, I'm telling you, like lead to lead, I need your help. You're the only guy that can do this job because the team is used to me running the show, and you're the closest person I know that can run in the exact same way to me because we ran with each other so well. I taught him some stuff on Planet side. We have very similar styles in directing. And I was like, this Perry's the only guy that I can think of right now that I can bring in. I've already talked to the team to make sure they know what's going on and they trust. It was just very important for that role, managing the show. And the team was willing to give him a chance, and he jumped into it. And I talked to all the the dancers afterwards, and they were all like, "No, I did great for the most part." So worked out really well.
Yep. Long story. TLDR. I got drafted. There you go. There's how I got involved.
Voluntold.
Yep. No, it was drafting. There's no voluntold about it. It was a straight up draft.
You are in tonight. This is not a discussion.
Yeah. You are. It was a. I'm calling in my favor. You are in tonight.
Fantastic.
So, how I got into VR chat. So I'm a gigantic fan of VTubers, like super into VTubers. Yes, I'm a gigantic VTuber simp, and I watch a lot of them. And again, this is going somewhere, I swear. But along the lines, like after a little bit of time, they started playing this game called VRChat, and I thought that it looked like a really cool concept. You know, being able to like fully roll up in this virtual world and actually like be in it and fully be like, I'm just an anime girl right now. It's great, right? So I was super interested in it, but I didn't have a headset back then. So what I would typically do around that time, thank you whoever just slammed that door, appreciate that. What I would typically do around that time is like that's a whole different thing. I have to deal with that all the time. What I typically do around that time is I would log in and I would kind of just avatar hunt, because it's kind of hard to find avatars that have like darker skin tones, and I have a darker skin tone in real life, so I really wanted that, and I wouldn't really find any, so I would log off, and that would basically be all I did for like a couple of months, and then I'd log in, look around again, and just be disappointed and log off again. It wasn't until like 3 or 4 years ago that I finally got my first headset, and that's when I really started playing a lot. And then I became, you know, known as the girl that every time I saw my friends, I was like, oh my god, hi, hello, I love you. Like that was kind of my reputation for a while. As for how I got into this group and where I am now, I was initially a part of a group called the Virtual Maid Cafe, which is now defunct, rest its soul, but it was a great time while it lasted. But during the Virtual Maid Cafe, they had a collab event with FIA and the virtual reality show, and I was one of the maids that was picked to staff their table, which was a lot of fun. What I didn't know at the time was the 2 people at that table were the previous owners of New Eden, and I was just my normal dorky self doing like normal typical silly maid things that I do at the Virtual Maid Cafe. And apparently that left a really big impression on them, because every single time one of the owners saw me after that, they were like, this one would be great for the team. Like, I need this one. And I didn't really believe it. I didn't really put too much stock into it until my friend Amy was like, hey, applications are open. You should apply. You should apply to join the team. And I was like, well, I'm not good enough for that. I can't do that. I don't think I'm good enough for that. And she kept telling me like over and over again, like, no, you'd be great. You have to do this. And eventually she's like, dress rehearsal. Come to a dress rehearsal, which is like a practice run of the show before, like the day before an actual show, and just see the show and make a decision then. So I came to a dress rehearsal, and I realized that the comets are basically what I do as a maid in the Virtual Maid Cafe. So I immediately was like super into it, and I picked a fight with Trudius like right away, which was a lot of fun. Like we had this really dumb banter back and forth, which was great. I still remember. But yeah, after that I applied and I was accepted pretty quickly, actually. And then as for how I got to where I am now in the group, like 3 months after I was accepted, I was chosen to be a captain for the Comets, which was really cool. And also I was allowed to be one of the hosts. We only had one host at the time, and I kept telling them repeatedly, like, I really want to be a host. I really want to do this. This is my goal. This is what I'm striving for, right? And when I was picked as the captain, they're like, yeah, we trust you. Go ahead, do it. You got this. And I was like, just like that? He's like, yeah, just like that. I was like, okay, cool. So I've been hosting an Observer ever since. Then Frolic opened and they had need of captains, and I kind of decided that my skill set fit Frolic better than it fit it was Evergarden at the time. So I became a captain in Frolic, which then transitioned to Radiance, and now I've moved up to head manager in Radiance Lounge. It's been a fun experience. So a lot of stuff has happened.
And that is a recent development for you as well. You just became head manager of Radiance Lounge. That is a brand new adjustment, and we are enjoying it very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
As for myself, I think I'm the newest to VR on this team. I'm also the newest to the team in general of head management. I was a VR COVID baby. That's the VRChat term. The pandemic hit and it brought me into VRChat. But prior to that, I was a Final Fantasy 14 player. And I had a bunch of friends in there. I was heavily involved on the Twitch side with a group called Althea Sanctuary. I helped build that to where it is today, and I'm really proud of it. I'm happy that they're doing well. Shout out to Maya. They're doing fantastic. And I ended up not working for them right around the time the pandemic had happened. I was in Final Fantasy, not much was going on. I met a friend that just one day dragged me into VRChat, and it's like a bomb went off. I had the most original, like, HTC Vive original headset. I bought it when it came out. It was broken when it came in. Vive took 5 months to repair it. I ended up getting it for free because my credit card gave me the money back before they even sent me the headset back. I got the money back, and then the headset came in the next day. I emailed Vive. They said keep it. So I think we're good on that one.
Emailed them? Are you kidding me? They would have had to pry it from my hand.
It was a big product, and they ended up sending me a couple of free things for it. So shout out to HTC Vive. I love them. Besides that, it was an explosion. I got into VRChat for like 2 or 3 days with my friends, had an absolute killer time. Final Fantasy and VRChat blended very, very well together. Immediately, I had just gotten a real job and had adult money. So what did I do? I bought an index and full body tracking in the same week. I just dived off the cliff immediately.
That's so real.
And ended up in the club and entertainment scene for a while. I've always been technically minded. I always liked doing the technical things when it came to, like, modding games or setting up servers and stuff like that. So one of the first things I did once I got like fully enamored into VRChat was download Unity, learn that absolute nightmare that was 2019 and the crap SDK that existed back then. We have much better tools nowadays. Shout out to the devs. And I just started building. Building, made my first world in like 2 months of me playing the game, started making my own avatars, which I still hate doing to this day. I love worlds, hate making avatars. And I started making worlds and programs for my friends. Over like 2 or 3 years, I just started making different maps for different groups that wanted to do things. But the scene that I was in didn't really want to innovate or do things differently. I'm very much about constantly learning and doing things that are new and exciting. And I'm just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. It's not very enjoyable. So after 4 years of doing the same thing in VR, because there's not much more to say, it was literally the same thing for 4 years, just between different friends and different places and different social circles. I got very tired. And one day, a friend of mine reaches out and is like, hey, this group needs an udon programmer. And I'm like, okay, who is it? It's like, it's Luxa Nova. It's like, who the hell is Luxa Nova? And they were like, they told me the whole backstory that's been told previously. I'm not going to go through it again. And I was like, oh, yeah, why not? And this was as recent as like February, March last year, which is for the sake of this recording, that would be 2025. And I kind of just joined the group, started working on small little scripts and stuff, started making little additions and enhancements and improvements, and all of a sudden the team that was making the developments for Luxa Nova, like this venue in Radiance Lounge, got a little bit too big for its structure, and a head management position opened. And I was brand new, like 2 or 3 months in. I was like, I'm going to try. I provided some structure the best I could, and it it worked out. I didn't really think I was going to get picked because I was like the new guy and there was plenty of other people, but I appreciate this team for picking me still to this day, and I am never bored. You guys run me ragged. There's so much that I need to do all the time. I'm staring at a thing. I'm staring at like 5 things right now that I need to fix on that one wall. I am very picky. I have a huge team. Even my fiance's joined the team and like is helping out. Like it's a whole project of 35 people at this point just on creative team alone, building these worlds and these universes that we get to entertain everyone in now. And it couldn't be more of an honor. I appreciate it very much.
Initially, when he did that, he poked me and was like, "Hey man, I'm poking my buddy's new script here." And I'm like, "Neat, cool. What the hell do you want me to do about that? I'm not on operations team."
Immediately.
Yeah, like, "Hey, Perry, go deal with this. This isn't my problem. I'm not dealing with this. They're not going on my team." And then, like, 4 months later, I poked Psycho and I was like, "Hey, so remember when I didn't care last time? You ever find someone like Locke again, you tell me now, and I will move heaven and earth to get that person on the team. I do not care. I will move heaven and earth, get them on the team. Okay? We need people like that. Get them in here.
It's
Get them
called
in
changing your opinion with new information.
I can't remember if we had DevOps at the time either. DevOps might not have been fully formalized, or if it was near the end of, before things changed over. So like,
It
I
was
don't
like all
even
the
think I had
programmers clammed together.
Yeah, I kind of just put you on I think it was, the 3 of you on that like section of event ops and just called it a day. And then creative stuff happened and we're like, okay, DevOps is kind of becoming its own thing too. Split the ops team into 3 teams now, and you were always kind of just doing your thing with the worlds, and I just kind of let it be because
how the teams
had everything
developed over time was kind of crazy. Because like, I mean, Observer and Radiance are just chugging along, whatever. They don't.
We're here, we're just vibing.
Everything behind the scenes was just metamorphizing.
Media used to be just event coverage. Then we realized, okay, we have a lot more on our plate at this point. So then media split into 3 wings. We now have social production, event coverage, and then we have the live production wing. Don't look at my leg. And then obviously ops. Ops split and had a bunch, and then creative we were like, oh, it's just we have all these people from all over the other teams who are pitching in, right? And then we're like, you know what, we might need some structure. So then creative was a thing, and then it started with world and lore. And then we're like, well, if we have lore, we're going to need characters. And then we're like, well, if we have characters, we're going to need to make the characters. And then we're like, okay, wait, we need avatars too now. So it's been so interesting to watch us evolve over time.
Yeah, specifically with creative, a lot of it started as what we were calling special teams at the time, where it was just like a management member was like, yeah, I can manage this part of things. I'll take this extra on my plate as a special team. Because we weren't really in the space to really like flush out an organizational structure for it. Because each part of the team, each department has its own management team that manages everything. And there's specializations with that. Like for the event venues, we don't focus on like running the day of event per se. We focus on like training the teams and making sure they're prepped. And then operations actually runs the day of event for the most part. Obviously, we have large says in that as we want to. If I'm making a call on the night, like it's going to go through as head manager of Observa for an Observa show. And most of the time, at least, there are times where, the stage manager at the time just overwrites me, and that's totally good. That's how it should work, right? Because they're running the show. But for the creative team specifically, it was much more, they were the first team that we really formed after separating, after our creative split. So the process was frankly messy and just kind of reactive to needs. Oh, we do need lore. Okay, we need people who can write for lore and creative folks for that. Set a team for that. Oh, we need worlds. Let's get a special teams going for that. And then eventually, and to her point on the Avi creation. And then eventually it was like, okay, we have this world setting environment now. We have these 3 teams that are building the setting that we're operating in for our lore and immersion. We should put them just under one roof because they need structure, and the rest of management just doesn't have the time to actually go through with it with our other responsibilities and build it out in an appropriate way. So went down the rabbit hole of like, cool, we need captains for this, we need a head manager for this, all that kind of stuff. Went through a whole process, and I think it's landed in a very good spot overall. Creative has been phenomenal to have on the team. I love giving them work. It is one of my favorite things to do, and just being able to pitch things towards them and be like, hey, I give me some lore. Here's our problem. Give me lore. And then I'm sorry in advance because I'm going to rip it up 80% because it's not going to be able to go on stage in the way it's written. And that's just kind of how it shakes out. And then it becomes a fun back and forth between the teams of like, how do we get it to how do we take those ideas and make them in a presentable way that can like really entertain the audience while still maintaining true to the visions that they're pitching forward on the lore and creative and respecting the work and effort they're putting in as well. It's a lot of fun. Jinx, have you had similar experiences so far as in going through the current processes with Radiance and everything?
Similar, but not exactly the same. Instead of like breaking into multiple teams for Radiance, it's more like Radiance started with one vibe and now we're kind of moving in a different direction. So what I mean by that is when Radiance initially started, we were kind of just like, okay, we have people that will go around and talk to you and like, you know, give you like that personal attention. And then we have like our go-go dancers around and we just have this big luxurious vibe. And that was like the whole thing. And that was pretty much as far as it went. And now, more and more as Radiance goes on, instead of just being that, we also are like, okay, we would like to include the lore. We would like to have everybody that steps into Radiance Lounge feel like they are actually on the space station Luxa Nova and they are within Radiance Lounge for the night. So you can believe that like the people who are here actually work here and things like that. So that's the direction that we've started moving on. Immersion more and more over time has become a gigantic focus for us. It was not initially, and it more like this is just what we've decided is kind of the most important thing and is the space that is going to really give us our own definite image. So maybe not necessarily with the fracturing into different teams as we need, but more so pivoting our direction repeatedly, because we've pivoted directions between Frolic and Radiance like 4-5 times. Like it's getting there. It's not entirely there yet, but it is in a very good spot, and it's only going to be in a better spot as time goes on, I would say.
With that being said, I want to ask, since you guys have all joined Luxa Nova at different times, and also because, you know, you guys mentioned that Luxa Nova was not always known as Luxa Nova, for those of you who are here during the development or the, you know, the first, like, debut of your group, regardless if it was called Luxa Nova or if it was called something else, do you guys remember the first performance that you guys have ever had, and how did that go? I think it's more towards you guys because you guys probably know more. Yeah, like specifically Trudy. I don't mean to like not include the rest of you, but I think it would be quite interesting because I heard there were like other things you guys mentioned, like being part of previously, for example, New Eden, who is unfortunately the group is no longer around. But yeah, like I remember that New Eden was also a similar performance group. So yeah, I thought it would be quite interesting to you know look back and ask what the first performance or the first show was ever like, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to give you weren't even on the team at the time. You were just watching on your bad computer. Do you want to give the viewer perspective and then I'll talk about the background?
So New Eden had started as avatars, which is how I found them. And I got to know the owners and they shared this big vision of what they thought was possible in VR. And how they were going to push it was to have these large scale performances. And it was going to be in a brand new venue, which was supposed to just exude class, right? Because obviously, as we've seen in all those documentaries, VRChat doesn't always exude class. So it was supposed to be a kind of reimagining of what you could do on a weekend in VRChat. So, of course, I was super down to this because, like I had said, I think VR is a crazy future. And I was like, oh my God, this vision is wild. I want to be part of every step of this. So I started out as a fan because I had no skills that were useful for what they were doing. So I had become a streamer recently, and I was like, oh, well, could I stream it? Because they allowed photos and videos, which was something also not very common in the VR space. If you were going out, they're like, don't take photos. We have photographers. Don't do it. So a huge part of the audience experience is like, share what you saw, take pictures, take videos, like let people know this is something very cool. So I was like, I could stream it. And they were like, yes, please stream it. It'll be great. So I started streaming it. And it was kind of revolutionary. Like the whole thing was like you had gone to the theater. You had entered the doors. You were greeted by people who worked there, right? Like it was as if there were ushers. It was as if people were actually opening up the doors and ushering you to your seats. I work in theater, and I literally felt like, oh, I'm at work. Like, I'm in a good way. I was like, I'm in a theater right now, and I'm in VR. Like, it was a very weird thing to kind of come to terms with. And you were sitting in these seats, and you're surrounded by people who are like, what is this going to be like? It was just so exciting to kind of see, like, what are we here for? And obviously the venue was beautiful. There was atmosphere. They had the hosts running around and seeing you. You could have drinks or the glow sticks, or there were table tents. It was very much, you were right there in that theater. And then the performances started, and every single one of them was either the best dances I've ever seen done in VR, or they pushed what I thought was possible with particles and with props that would just appear, or with there was a triple, it was the Mute But Cute. They did a huge Egyptian style, and there were 3 of them. And when they would suddenly appear and when they would disappear, and then the giant props that would show up, it was crazy. It was beyond what I'd ever seen. And the show ended, and no one could shut up. Everyone got up, and they were all running around talking to each other. And then when the performers came out, everyone was like, how did you do that? What was that? Like, it was like a bomb had gone off, kind of like how Locke said earlier. It was like a bomb had gone off. It was something completely new and amazing. And everyone was so proud of what they had put on. And yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, you can still find the video of the first performance on her stream, and there's an interview with me afterwards saying what the hardest part was going to be, which was the next 2 weeks. So on the back end of everything, we'd been prepping for a few months at that point before the first show happened, finding a team, building people up, getting training going, setting expectations, and really building in a culture of feedback. I cannot stress this enough. It was very intentional at the beginning. I was the one running practices at the time, and just really like, we need to do some kind of group feedback stuff. Initially, I didn't want practices, and the other folks were like, no, we should do this. And I was like, yeah, okay. If we're going for the vision we are, you're right, it's needed. Built in that feedback culture, got that ball rolling. Had to turn some people down on the first show. There were actually 2 individuals who did not end up performing that were trying to, because that's just how it shakes out sometimes. And we don't want to we've never wanted to just put anyone up there. We want people that meet a certain expectation and standard, and really push boundaries in good ways. And we had some cheat codes for that kind of thing, specifically the way the stage and world worked, which was a lot of those effects you were talking about were not at all avatar made. A lot of our performers, most of the performers on that first set, just came in here and just danced, and that was it. And the stage brought them to light and made them feel like a celebrity and have those effects going on and everything. And a lot of those kinds of added ideas of like work smarter, not harder, having some elements of storytelling in there, those have grown as time has went on, and now we end up with the modern day Observa. When our creative split happened, our structures stayed essentially the same. By the time, after a few months after we launched at Evergarden, I became head of Evergarden. I'm still head of Observa. We have kept that going. A lot of our team members are the same people. A lot of our management has been the same or have moved to other parts of management. One of my original captains, B, is now one of the captains on the creative team. So folks have kind of moved around as time has went on. We've definitely grown, specifically on the Cherub, formerly the Cherub team, now the Comet team, which is the team that Jinx had joined as well. Huge growth on that front, huge growth, because initially we didn't know what the hell we were doing with that team, being completely transparent. And Jinx is completely on the money when she says, this is basically what I was doing at Maid Cafe, because we were just copying Maid Cafe. That was like the goal, was just like rerun what they were doing because it worked. And we were like, we don't know what to do with these people. We just want to have some kind of immersiveness to it. And it worked, right? And then over time, we had captains come in who were like, I want to turn this into something. I'm going to build on this. We don't really know what this is going to be, but we're going to try stuff and see what sticks. And I think it really talks to how innovative the team has been and how we never want to settle on one thing. If you compare a show now to our original show, or even shows 6 months down the line, a year down the line after we launch, they're different beasts. That same kind of kernel is there, but they are different beasts at different scales and have different intentions. And there are things that go now that I would have vetoed 2 years ago on the in the previous setup. And there are things that, you know, and vice versa. The things we were doing back then where now I'd be like, that's not the play. That's not what we do here. Which is okay. And I think it's a good thing, because I think that a lot of groups end up kind of sitting on their laurels once they find something that wins and is successful. They don't want to take a risk because they're succeeding. So why would they try and push things and innovate? And to me, that's just boring. I want to try new stuff. I've been there in the camp of this is successful, it works. And now I'm bored and losing interest because there's no challenge for us. This is one of the reasons I left the planet side space, because there was no new challenge for me in that environment. And I got bored and I burned out. All right. And Perry was a similar camp, or we just kind of got bored and burned out on stuff. But this has been a good environment where we have a culture and team in place that's willing to take risks and push things and try new stuff. And just our premise, like our basic lore premise of everything we do is in our own lore. I know of some groups that have attempted that in VR. I don't know many that have done it particularly well, to the point where they have 2 venues that fill up like all the time. And go down that route. I think Radiance is a great example of that innovation too, because there's no need, like numbers wise, there's no need for them to innovate and push immersion and everything. Just like there was no need for us when we started going towards the lore theater stuff. We were filling house every show. There was no concern on that front, but we'd been doing it for 6-8 months of that structure at that point, and we were like, we want something new. We want to push things. We can do better. We want to do something different, right? I think we're in a very good spot now that we can continue to innovate on stuff in certain ways and improve our efficiency on things like heavy themed shows is a great example, like our Voidfall shows, our Luxe and Lunacy shows. We have one coming up in April and May, that the venues will be coordinating on, which is very exciting, with kind of the touching theming and all that kind of stuff. And through these kinds of things, we can continue to push boundaries and try new stuff in different ways and take risks. There are risks we took during Voidfall that now, after doing it, I'm like, I'm glad we took that risk. We're not repeating it. Or I'm glad we took that risk. We're absolutely repeating it. That was a good call and we need to do it again. And there's a ton of value add in that it's going to keep people, it's going to attract the right people in my mind to our team that want a challenging environment, and keep people engaged in a way that a lot of venues, to Locke's point, just can't do. Because if it's the same thing everywhere and it's the same thing every time, you're going to burn out at some point. Or you're just not the kind of person that wants to be pushed, and that's okay. In that case, not the team for you. If you are the kind of person that wants to be pushed and try new stuff, this is the environment to really grow in on that, I feel.
I think we take a lot of we are not afraid to fail, you know?
Yes.
Like we kind of encourage it. I mean, someone came to me. Yeah, we fail all the time. I mean, there is no perfection. You know, there's only failure, trying, and growing. And I mean, we, like Trudy said earlier, like feedback is incredibly important to us. But we also want to nurture people. So like someone came to me with an idea. They're like, I'd like to try this. I was like, yeah, let's try it, see if it fits, if it works, and we'll go from there. But I'm not going to say don't try or we don't do that. So no, I want to see if it works. If it works, then we have something new to do. We have another avenue for people to grow creatively. If it fails, then we tried. We now know, and we can move on and be like, okay, why did it fail? What worked? Can we evolve this in a way that is more in line with what we want or what people would like to see? So I think being almost super willing to fail is a huge part of what makes us able to grow.
Yeah, we've torn up so many systems and rebuilt them. It's just across the board, all kinds of stuff. And when something goes wrong, we're not just like, this is what we've been doing, therefore we keep doing it. We're like, this went wrong. Why did it go wrong? Do we need to adjust and go on to it?
Literally today.
I was going to bring this up unless you were going to bring it up.
Yeah.
Bring it up, Locke.
Literally today we're doing that. I'm not going to go into details about it, but I'm rewriting a whole system of what we do in creative because we hit a bump somewhere, not a big deal. And I spent like a good 3 or 4 hours today rewriting our structure, and I'm having a meeting about it tomorrow. So it's just constant iteration, constant improvement, constant changing. Sometimes we have to roll back because maybe a change we didn't actually work out. We have to, maybe the older way that we did it, or, there's different staff or a different crowd. We just kind of adapt to whatever we're given and what's happening at that moment. And we have to not be comfortable intentionally so that we can keep growing and keep pushing against the challenges that we run into.
I like how Lux Nova is a very evolving group. You guys seem to be taking what you have and pushing the boundaries at what you can. And I like that you guys are not afraid to fail. I think that's very inspirational because I feel like a lot of people are too afraid to try. And yeah, I think you guys are doing a really good thing. And I'm really, really glad that we got to speak today. I just want to ask on the topic of shows and performances, do you guys remember how many members you had on your team during the first show compared to your most recent show? I'm not sure what your most recent show is because the only show that I've seen from you guys here at Lux Nova is the one at VR charity event where Sojinx and Lamtid were the hosts. What was it? The ringmaster and what was the other guy's name?
And technician, ringmaster, technician.
Yeah,
I still need to fire them both.
Big dopey hat.
Oh. Yeah, so I only remember that particular performance, but based on your member size, your staff team, because you have different staff sections like your Observer Theater, Radiance Lounge, the Comets, the creative team, the lore team. How big has your team grown since your beginning days? Like, do you remember how many you had at the start and how many you have now?
Probably
It's more than doubled.
Oh no, it's like
pulling up the
it's like
spreadsheet.
like when we started, Evergarden was like
I definitely wasn't doing that.
I really saw Perry move his hand to find the spreadsheet. I'm not even kidding.
When Evergarden started, it was probably like 30 people. Like,
Yeah,
it was not a huge thing.
26 to 30.
Yeah,
That's what I remember.
It's impressive that you have a
back then it was
spreadsheet.
like- Yeah,
we
back
have
then
so
it
many.
was.
We have so many spreadsheets.
All right. I have
So much data.
I have we moved a bunch of stuff to like project management software now, which has been a godsend. But I have like 100. Take out the bots. That's like 2 or 3, maybe. Let's be generous. Say 4. It's still 154 people in that server that I got to keep track of and make sure have roles and everything is, managed and kept track of. So yeah, we have spreadsheets. That's a lot of people to keep track of.
Very complicated spreadsheets.
Oh God, also it's all in one Discord server, so like there's permissions depending on what team you are, so you don't just see 800 channels. Unfortunately, us as managers see every single one of them.
You guys can choose to not. You can unfollow channels. You have
I
the
am
ability
the
to do
Senate.
this.
Look me in
I'm
the eye
on
and
every
tell me
channel.
I can mind my own business.
I have to
Look,
see
I see everything.
department.
I see everything
That's
by
your goddamn
choice.
fault. Yeah, I know you do. I know
I
you do.
own that.
I'm the
I
biggest
don't
see everything
proponent
by
of-
choice.
If you don't,
I lose my
if you
mind.
don't, if you don't need to see it, take it away. I'm a huge proponent of that. So the server, like, while I have access to like everything, including the archive channels, as like a head manager or whatever, I have my category for Observa. I've got management. I've got the community channels, and I have like one in ops, one in creative, one in media, and like that's it, because that's all I actually need to do my job. These insane people are like, I want 3 million channels that I can go through and then mark red individually.
I took a big step.
I don't do
Trudy.
that.
I minimized it so it says Observa, and then when a white dot shows up, then the channel shows up. Then I read it. So I don't just have them all open anymore, but I used to. I used to have every one of them unfolded.
Oh, I have them all
Innovation
unfolded.
and improvement right there.
I have
right
every
there.
single one
She's
of them
adapted.
unfolded at all times. I see every channel.
I have them all
These are
unfolded at
psychopaths.
all
I have
times.
to know what's happening. If I don't
psychopaths.
know what's happening, I feel like I'm out of the
hold
loop.
on. She is actually insane. I actually need them unfolded because I need to go digging around in almost every
That's true,
single
you sure do
channel
need it.
sometime during the
literally
week.
everyone talks about shit they're gonna need for media. I gotta know.
It's true. Block, what do you got? You had your
I
hand
like,
up?
I like how
Whatever.
all I saw
So,
was Trudia's go, my disappointment is immeasurable. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
He doesn't
Look, if I disappoint or team kill him in something, it's a good day.
Yeah. All right,
It
Block,
gets
what you got?
worse. So not only are there spreadsheets, we also have the entire Discord, and this is where creative and ops get their dementia from. So not only do we have the Discord and all that, we also have our own GitHubs that we have to track. All of the history and tracking of that. We also had them write our own API for some reason. I still love that you guys did that, because we just wanted to do it in-house. So we have our own API that we also have to manage as well, that all these worlds talk with. So that's even more data about every single person and even more information. You just get a Discord role in our server and different things happen in this world for you. It's all integrated and all connected, which is nuts. But that means we also have to see literally everything x3. So it just keeps getting worse.
And then we have drives.
Google Drive, yeah.
And I gotta tackle all of this. That's why we have a spreadsheet for onboarding, because we literally have check boxes to make sure every single person has things done in an order.
I have a checklist
because
for
it's really
onboarding.
easy to miss stuff.
Like,
Yes.
do this, do this, do this, do this. Okay,
Yes.
now you can add them to the server. Okay, now you do this and this and this.
Yes.
So
And
for
then you
those of
tell
you who
ops
are
and the rest of
wondering,
it gets done. It's
sorry,
great.
latency.
That's like
What
the
would you
second
say,
thing on
sorry?
my list.
No, I just tried to do a bit, and then she does her bit, and then she tells ops to do their thing, and then it gets done, and we're good.
Yeah, so for those of
It's a
you who are
lot of
wondering how
stuff,
many
honestly.
people they have over in Lux Nova, a lot. They started with 26,
Yes.
and now they have the entire like population of Australia or something.
More.
They're like really big.
I think Australia's a few more people than that.
Alright, so
We still need more.
Yeah, we need more.
my next question for you is what was the hardest thing you guys have ever done in Lux Nova? And how did all of you overcome it? Because I bet there are challenges working in such a huge team, am I right? It's like this big freaking team and you gotta like manage everybody. And also your shows are really technical, so out of your experience working together as a team or as an individual in the group, what was your biggest challenge whilst working or performing or doing anything regarding, you know, this wonderful community and team in Lux Nova? And how did you overcome it? We'll start from Ender Empress.
Well, my biggest challenge I'm still dealing with. I would say my biggest challenge is it started out as expectation, because, well, if you're performing on the stage, you want that to be captured. We had a severe lack of people at some point where people who were doing completely other jobs were like, I can take photos, right? Like we had a media deficit, basically. It is a lot better now, but it is something that I always feel like we could use more of. We our scope has grown. We have more events, venues, and we need it covered. So my greatest challenge is finding more talented people who would like to work with us, and making sure that we can immortalize what we do here and share it with the world. So that's my biggest challenge. I'm still dealing with it, but so far is we have basically done what we do and spread the word and found a lot of people who have found a really passionate drive to create here. So
I just like to chime in from what you mentioned. I think you guys have already immortalized yourself, because when I think performance, I think Lux Nova, and I bet all the big like festival people like PJKT and Virtual Market also think that. So you don't have to worry too much. You guys are technically immortalized, and you, the viewer who's listening or watching, depending on where you're viewing this, if you like performance, and Empress mentioned that they want quality, cool people that do amazing performance stuff, and also good management people to help with the rest of the stuff. So if you're looking, please join the Lux Nova Discord server that you can find in the description of the video, as well as all the links to all these wonderful people. And we'll be mentioning this again at the end of the podcast. So yeah, if you are interested in working with this wonderful team of people, you can actually find all the links in the description. Anyway, Judy, what about you? What is your like the challenge that you've
Yeah.
you seem to be that. I think you already have your answer.
Yeah. So we've definitely had a couple challenges overall. I would say my hardest like leadership challenge actually wasn't for LN. It was a conversation with someone in PlanetSide that set me up a lot for success. But for LN specifically, I would say Voidfall. And the reason Voidfall was such a challenge was Voidfall was kind of like perfecting the formula. So our first big themed event, our first, I'll say, lore event. We had other themed events as Evergarden, but like our first big lore event with an actual storyline was our second Darkwood Manor. And the separation happened quickly after. So there wasn't a lot of time to decompress and process how that went and everything. And then going into our first major theme show, Luxe Lunacy, in April of 25, there was a lot of like, we weren't quite sure what direction to go. I was having second guesses on our lore direction. Actually, at the time, I talked to a coworker about it at the time, who's a senior lead at my workplace. He recently left. And I was like, I'm kind of in this mixed bag on this thing, because I think a lot of the team doesn't want this direction, but I also think it's where the direction should go. And he was like, you should keep going then. So going into Luxe Lunacy, a lot of it was, how do we make this work? And I went too far in the other direction of trying to be Mr. Appeasement and give everyone the possibility of just doing whatever they wanted. And that was actually just not enough guidance to the team, and it led to a lot of confusion. So going into Voidfall, it was, how do I land in the middle of these kinds of positions and really be in a comfortable spot to get the show flowing and really nail a unique show that is very character-centric, where we don't lose the main plot like we did during Luxe Lunacy. And try to tie in other aspects of like a really good closer, world edits from the world team. Shout out to Sky Sage, who spent like 16 hours in over 3 days doing tons of edits, basically exactly what management asked. Super incredibly impactful to the show. And just a lot of those kinds of things. So facilitating all the stuff from what ended up being creative team and all of what my team needed and all of the operations side, and trying to catch all these things and making sure everyone's talking to each other. I was basically a project manager for like a full theater, and it was a very challenging experience. I had to balance a lot of differing opinions and personalities as well, which was a good experience to have at the end of the day, even though it gave me extra gray hairs at the time, and Lord knows I don't need more gray hairs. But similar to what we've been saying, we always try to adapt. So like coming out of that Voidfall experience, I made a ton of documentation for like what this should look like in the future, because, this is the second I've had to answer this question, once for Luxe Lunacy, once for Voidfall. This is a repeating thing. I need to document it. So going forward into like our May shows, I have a list of everything that we need to my knowledge, right? As much as I could. And I've already shared that with like the world team, and my team's always gotten access to it. I think I've shared it with ops. If I haven't, I'm going to share it with you soon, TM. To keep like the ball rolling and really keep adapting to things. I'm not worried about any challenges we face because I think we can always adapt to things and innovate on things. Never let a good crisis go to waste. That's how I'm going to end that. Perry?
Yeah. Yeah, I think our biggest challenge on the ops team was LL. Like it just straight up was Luxe and Lunacy. Coming off the the separation, forming the new group, we had some ops people, but we were a very small team at the time, and at the time, we only had one method of doing lights up until that point. It was manual on, our light board and that sort of thing, to do all the effects, do all the stage lights. But when we got to Luxe and Lunacy, it was the first time we'd started to use this world, and there wasn't time to put the board or buttons to manually do that control in here. So we had to I full admit I made an incorrect call at the time where I tried to take care of Observa with their current cycle and get everything done with that, and then at the same time have some people learning the new system that we can use. It we at the time only had in here. Now we have both in here, which is great. Shout out to Locke. But it was like May 30th, and like the next show was 2 weeks later in this world, and so what ended up happening is I put my eggs in too many baskets, and we ended up finishing that cycle and having to learn an entirely new system from scratch, because we had to restart like everything 2 or 3 times because we just we'd start doing something, realize we're making this so much harder on ourselves, and if we continue this way, it's just the show's not going to happen. And so we faced technical problems. We faced like just a manpower problem. I definitely made some wrong calls at the time that I definitely learned from. And it really was sort of I don't want to say a wake up call, because it wasn't necessarily a wake up call, but it was like when you're driving down the road and you start to doze off and then you hit a rock and it like jolts you awake. It was that. And so really that was like the biggest challenge and biggest learning experience, and the hard conversations that happened with people before that, the hard conversations that happened with people after. There were a lot of just things that if I hadn't developed a lot of the social skills I have in the last like 3 or 4 years, I would have just been stuck there, or absolutely have just done the wrong thing there. So there were lessons from the past that helped me navigate through that. And there were lessons learned from Luxe and Lunacy that we did a lot better with Voidfall, and we're going to do a lot better in the coming theme show, because now we have a lot better staff, and we have better systems. We have more documentation than we used to. We have a team that's bought into what we're trying to do and how we're trying to push StageX, because just like these guys are all trying to develop on the venue side, we're trying to figure out with stage lighting. It's like, okay, how do we do things? How do we take stage lighting further? How do we organize things with event ops further? And like Locke mentioned, like we have our API, we have our Discord, but how do we tie things together so that we automate more? We streamline everything. How do we, what's the next development on that side of things. And it's all information flows. It's all how do we present ourselves, and how do we work together as a group. And that's all the questions that kind of every single time we do one of these big theme shows, the answers we think are the correct answers really get tested, and then we go, okay, maybe that wasn't the right answer, and then we try and make another one. And so that's a little off topic, but general vibe. So
the biggest challenge that Radiance Lounge has faced. Interesting question. I think Voidfall is also probably what I would say was the biggest challenge for Radiance Lounge, but for an entirely different reason from Observa. So whereas Observa was really like perfecting all of their systems and like their structure and how they run things, for Radiance it was very much stepping into territory that we had never stepped into before and figuring out how do we even do this. So Radiance is, like I mentioned, it's started out as a very just like casual thing. People, you just come here, you can hang out with people, there's dancers around, and it's a really nice, classy, fun time. And it didn't really extend much farther than that. Voidfall was our first event that had a story and characters in Radiance Lounge, and a unique experience and a unique challenge that we had with that was, how do we tell a story in a venue like ours? Because unlike Observa, where there's the stage, everybody's paying attention to the stage, it has its own pacing, right? In Radiance, everything sort of just happens, right? Things are just happening all over the place. It's like a very free-flowing, almost like a party. How do you tell a story in a party? And so we had to sort of make some acquiescence to like, okay, every once in a while we're going to have something happen over the world mic to sort of drive the plot line forward. But the real thing that ended up gluing everything together and made it a through line was that we made the story an activity. And that's kind of what's worked for Radiance Lounge. So we had a through line for the night where everybody was tasked with finding the culprit who had made the main bad guy of Radiance Lounge's event, made her alcohol disappear. And she told everybody in the venue they're not allowed to leave until they figure out like who's responsible for that. It was one of her crewmates. She knows it was one of her crewmates. So everybody in the venue was invested in the story of figuring out who this is. It wasn't a very complicated story, but we still managed to run one. And we came across some other unique scenarios that we had to figure out as well. We had our own dress rehearsal, which is, again, a weird concept for Radiance, because how exactly do you practice a party, right? It's kind of odd, but we had to run some very important things for it, so we ran that, and it brought up some unique problems. One of the biggest problems was that the halftime show stopped the flow of everything. Everybody was just kind of like, they went from watching the dancers and being very immersed to, okay, gather in the middle and we're gonna like do this activity, and it didn't feel right. And I actually got a lot of feedback from the staff, all of Radiance management did, about how it didn't feel right. And so we had to go back to the drawing board and be like, how can we make this fit in line with Radiance more? And so that ended up shifting to being like in a day, yes, like literally overnight. I rewrote a whole document. I rewrote a whole document overnight so that we could run this the next day. It was wild. But it shifted from stopping everything and having an activity in the middle to, well, let's just have everybody immersively take part in this activity wherever they are in the world. And that worked for us. And that's sort of what I've learned from that experience, is if something happens in our venue, it has to immersively happen around. So that was definitely our biggest struggle. The amount of changes that I made and the other members of Radiance management between the dress rehearsal and the literal just Voidfall the next day was astounding, and it was a very good learning experience.
If I can add to that real quick, so I want to heap more praise on them for that, because I was definitely on the judging side going into that dress rehearsal, because what I was seeing was the very similar mistakes that I had made and my team had made like a year beforehand, right, during Darkwood, and I was very much in the camp of like, they need to figure it out. They'll figure it out. and they did figure it out. And going into that dress rehearsal, we had a lot of feedback that we gave. I know several folks on the Observer side of things gave feedback. It may be weird for those externally to hear me be like, oh, Observa versus Radiant, yada yada yada. Like they're considered separate teams internally. Like we're all Lux Nova, but like I have literally nothing to do with Radiance. I am just a guest in that venue. And you know, obviously not vice versa because Jinx is the host of Observa and all this kind of stuff. Bit of a different vibe there, but like we're pretty big on that kind of thing. I have no say on like how Radiance operates, anything like that. I give advice here and there if they ask for it, and that's about it. But the shift was insane. It was so impressive to see them to like immediately get that feedback after dress and things just didn't click, and then recognize, okay, no, our strength is like the socializing and immersion. We need to push more in that lane, and then change the show pretty significantly over a day. That's a very hard pivot to do with such like a larger team, especially a team that is not nearly as practiced at these kinds of pivots like the Observa team is, just because we've been doing theme shows for literally a year longer than they have. And a lot of while there are some crossover between the teams, a lot of the Radiance teams are not people from Observa. And they don't have experience in that kind of thing. So just huge props to them on that transition. And again, like what we keep hammering, immersiveness and being able to adjust and being able to adapt and recognize, hey, this isn't working. What do we do to make it work? What do we do to line up with what we're going for? How do we make it special? How do we make it better? Anyway, Locke.
So my scenario and like my hardest issue that I'm having, I'm actually currently in, and I have been since I joined, and I can explain why. When I'm joined, it essentially was the meme where the dog is sitting in the dining room table with the newspaper and everything's on fire and it says, "This is fine."
Yeah.
That is what I got promoted into. We had an organization that formed in January push all the way to the end of a Rain Dance nomination in less than 6 months. This included 2 maps being made and a bunch of other stuff. And by the time I had joined and gotten involved and did what I need to do, this team was exhausted. Absolutely exhausted. So how do you manage a team that is on the brink of exhaustion, who is also involved with all the other venues? I have people at Radiance, I have people in Observa, I have people on Ops, I have people on Media. And at the time, because Creative was brand new, we were last priority, rightfully so. These people have time dedicated into other orgs and other groups and other teams. I'm not going to expect their full time, but a dev project needs that. How do you organize, a really, really hard dev project around people that have other priorities? And I had to form the team around that availability. So what we saw was, we had massive tech debt because the team had rushed everything. This venue was built in less than 3 or 4 months. Radiance was also built in less than 3 or 4 months. And when I first joined, it was significantly heavier, like 3 or 4 times heavier. This map has now gone under 8 months of optimization and repair to get it to a point where it is usable. And for the first time, ever since this Voidfall essentially, we are doing something new. We are planning new projects. We are planning new things and new objectives and new goals. And the team is now ready to be dedicated. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to people that are like, hey, I'm available this week. What do you need? Hey, I'm available for 5 minutes. Where can I help? And now I have a team that's asking for organization and structure and policy and all this stuff that we just didn't have because the team didn't want it at the time. In the blink of the eye, they do. And I'm having to take this massive shift into essentially was a mercenary group into a more corporate foundation. And this is a problem that I'm literally still solving today. I set up several websites and spreadsheets that I said Trudius 3 or 4 hours ago. This is something I'm actively working on as we speak. And it's going successfully, and I'm not very worried at all because the projects that we have planned are amazing. I have people working on a theme for Radiance right now. I can literally see the plastic being updated as we speak because I have it open on the side over here because I'm working as we're doing this, of course. And It's real.
I
I'm
literally
very
just sent a
happy to
message.
now have a
I
team.
sent a message in management. I'm doing it too.
Yeah, we're all very dedicated to what we do, and I'm still working, you know, and keeping the team organized as best I can, and I'm evolving it and I'm shaping it, and I'm trying to make everyone happy at the same time, which obviously isn't something you can always do, but it has absolutely been the real struggle of what does my team need and how can I provide it, and that has absolutely been a constant challenge because with a new team that wasn't part of the old foundation, it is extremely hard to figure that out on the fly because we don't have time to sit down and adjust. I need to go, and these projects need to be done yesterday. And I can't shut down the whole team just to reformat stuff. I got to do it live, and that's definitely the hardest part.
Oh god, that's so hard to do.
Yeah, seriously.
I literally was rewriting stuff when we completely restructured media. I was like, oh boy, all right.
I got a meeting tomorrow.
I'm going on vacation this weekend. You guys can have fun.
He did his restructuring like a year ago. Yeah, I did the restructuring like a year ago. He's gone down
I did
that
my
road.
restructuring a year ago. I didn't kick that can down the road. I was like, this needs to get fixed now. But I remember when we had version like the alpha version of the API, and then we were like, okay, this is kind of maybe ish okay for like a version 0.1 or something, and then we're like, hey, lock.
Well, I actually had that script written in like my first couple of weeks. I was like way ahead of you guys because he was like, yeah, we need
I know you
need
were
to have
way
something
ahead.
for
You
this
just
API
needed-
integration.
You just need the
because
syntax.
You guys made a similar format to VRC linking, which is a free, usable, similar API that you can use. But we needed our own for specific purposes and scripts that VRC linking just didn't work for. I already had something. I just had to change how the data was read. So they were like, yeah, we need this in like 2 or 3 months. And I was like, here, it's done.
Yeah.
And they were not ready for it at all.
Oh man, I wish I had miso soup.
No, 'cause we found like as soon as we were like, oh cool, this is ready, and then we tried to flip the on switch and found like 10 bugs in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, everything broke.
I think
So
this
it is.
talks to another strength of the team too, which is specialization. Where like I'm good at like logistics and like a lot of organizational stuff and so, like some of the leadership stuff. I share some of that skill set with Perry. However, Perry's a lot more technically oriented than I am, and I'm much more socially oriented than he is, so we can balance off each other. That was a foreign language, whatever the hell just was said to me. I don't understand shit what just said, right? I don't know. And that plays into some of our strengths, right? Where like we can go to each other and just be like, I just need this. I don't know how you're gonna do it. I don't care how you do it. I just need it. Right. And we kind of recognize that with each other. There are times where I come to like Locke and I'm just like, dude, I just need this. I need this plot line by this point. Because we need to start killing it and like, you know, tearing it up a little bit and giving feedback and all that kind of thing. Right. And the times I went to Perry and I'm like, hey man, I just need these numbers. I don't care how you get them to me. I just need them. Right. And they can just tell me off if they need to tell me off, or they can be like, cool, I'll get it done and get it done. Right. And vice versa. There are times where it's just like, this is how the world's going to work today. And it's like, cool. Okay. We'll work around it. Right. That's how things are going to go. It's how things are going to go right now. Right. Hey, we need like, you need to do this thing for to help out ops team. Cool. Whatever. I've had one of the most stressful meetings I ever had and most efficient I ever had was during post June, last June, post rain dance. The team wanted to go on a big break. We weren't sure how long of a break we wanted to do for the whole server to shut down. All work for the whole server because obviously we're a big org and there's a lot of moving parts. So I sat with when we were rebuilding scheduling stuff. I sat with the stage tech team, which I don't run, but they were at that point the team that was the most stressed out and burnt out on things. And I sat there with them for an hour. I'm not sorry for taking that meeting over and just being like, hey, like, what do you guys need? Like realistically, based on your workloads and how the world works and your guys' training and settings and everything, what do you guys need and what timeline is comfortable for you guys? Because if you guys burn out, my team doesn't have a show anymore. So you got like, I need to make sure they are online, right? And they are good to go. This has been happening recently too with media where I've been like poking them. I'm like, hey, I need these covers for these events. where are we at on this right now? I apologize if I'm annoying on that. I'm not that sorry.
No. The crazy part is like Trudy's right about the specialization. There are some people who are really good at certain things. So Trudy needs images for the calendar. I then go, okay, I need these images. I needed a template. We had an old template that Lux from Ops had. So I went to Lux and one of Trudy's captains who's good at Canva. And I was like, you two kiss. Okay, thank you. I now have a template. Cool. And I'm like, okay, now we're over here. I'm with my team. We have a task board and we put who needs it, what is it, who's doing it, when do we need it by, here's the template, here's a tutorial on how to use the template, we need 4 of these and 6 of these, thank you. And then the people who are good at what they do what they're good at, and then I can be like, here you go, Trudy. And so
and
but it's so many moving pieces.
Yeah, and that process takes an extra week than it would be for me to just sit down for an hour and learn the tools. But that's not like a sustainable thing. I just can't sit down and learn a tool for an hour every day to learn something new and just be a jack of all trades. None of us can. We don't have the time for that. It's a volunteer thing. None of us get paid. We go inside.
Yeah, what we have now, like that whole process, it might seem like a lot, but it's just poke, and things move along, right? What we had before was we had an intake, and that was basically like, media, I need a thing, and then media captains being like, we don't have a graphic designer, so one of us is gonna do it, and like we literally, we had like 8 intakes, and there were 3 of us who were capable of doing it, and we were also running our department, and so we were like, this is the worst, actually. And I mean, it takes recruitment. Like I said, that's my hardest thing right now. But we now have like 2.5 graphic designers, and then we have some video editors, and we have social media people who are specifically for making social media stuff. And now I can be like, here's the thing, and people are like, cool, I can do that thing, and no one is dying inside, and it's very nice.
Oh, so I have another question for you, which is, what is some of your fondest memories of events or things within Lux Nova that have happened over the years, and why has that stuck with you?
Oh, honestly, my fondest memory has now been the last Observa. So like I had said before, I have been kind of entrenched in this for a very long time. Before it was this, before it was even performances. And like I said before, I strongly believe in VR's future. And the last Observa, I was very emotional because for the first time, I felt like we had a cycle with Radiance and our themings and the people involved and then Observa and how successful it was. And I felt such an overwhelming sense of rightness. I don't know. It felt so homey. It was exactly what I wanted. It was us pushing the future while maintaining such a wonderful, diverse, and caring community. The community is what makes what we are. When we separated, that's all we were. For a hot minute, we were refugees and we were a community. And that was it. We had no events. We didn't have branding. We were just a whole bunch of people who believed in something. And this past Observa really had me looking at it. It had me sitting back and looking and being like, we've done it. Like, we are always going to be making it better, but we did it. In my heart, I looked around at all the people I cared about and looked at the amazing thing that we put on throughout the entire cycle, and I got emotional because I saw our dream happening. And so yeah, I guess my fondest memory just keeps happening. It's just every time we do something together, it's kind of my fondest memory now. So yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, so screw you. So mine is the after party from last weekend. And the reason for that is 2025 was like a recovery year for us. And 2026 is going to be very much a building on our good foundations and really keep tweaking things, clean things up. But I really felt that going into that after party. And we had a very, very successful weekend last weekend. We made a lot of really good connections that I think will bear out over time for very beneficial to us and hopefully the rest of VRChat. And through that, I was able to give one of probably my favorite talk I've been able to give to the team in the back, which was regardless, TLDR is regardless of who's out here in this room and how many people we get seeing and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't matter, because what matters is how we do our things and how we have fun. And whatever goes on in that stage and in this area is what this boils down to, right? It doesn't matter who's watching, doesn't matter the clout you get or anything like that. None of that really matters at the end of the day to me. What matters is producing cool shit. And from that, like being able to just tell the team, you guys deserve this, you guys deserve these shout outs. And then going into, in my opinion, that was the most fun I've had in months, that after party. Just being able to hang out with the team, have some drinks, listen to some good music, celebrate with a lot of the guests we had that came over with us, celebrate with the team, watching the team be able to just, I became a little bit of like dad Trudies for a minute, being able to sit on the DJ booth and just watch the team de-stress in real time, dancing with each other, having fun, having drinks, celebrating, enjoying the moment of, 3 months essentially, because a lot of people were working over the break of work, building into this show. Being able to finally hit that moment afterwards was just really heartening and heartwarming. And it was also scary because I knew the moment that night ended, I immediately had to get back to work again, which is exactly what we did. So maybe I'm really holding on to those 6 hours I had at that after party or something. But that to me right now, like top of mind is like, I've had other moments that felt really successful, but like that community aspect really hit in that moment. And it really felt like 3 years of work kind of culminated in that night, which was super great to see.
I kind of have like two moments in time, but they kind of connect together. Because they're both the significant to their respective years. So like the first cycle we did of 2025, after everything, everything was so turbulent, there were so many unknowns. There was a genuine fear at when the creative split happened that we were going to lose, a third, half, how we didn't know how much of the community, if or if we were going to still have one. So to reach the end of that first cycle, and not only did we not lose a third of the team, I think we only lost like 3 or 4, and that's just because people stepped away for either personal reasons. We lost 2 people, and
they both came back.
Yeah. And the thing is like at the end with that, like, not only did we keep everybody together, we kept this group together. It meant a lot because almost 4 years to the day earlier, we'd gone through almost the exact same thing with the PlanetSide group we were a part of. And so you have that where the PlanetSide thing did not go as cleanly as it could have. To learn those lessons and have reached the end of this first cycle where we kept everyone together. Like the ops team was that was literally working like 8 hours trying to reach out to people, keep track of people, make sure we had all our information in check. Like massive shout out to like Aethys, Maz, Luxe, Kitty and Chow. Like they were all like Chow was like brand new to the team when this is all happening. Chow was just trying to help. It's like the route we reached the end of that first cycle as a team, we got through it. It really was a "we're so back" moment, and I'm pretty sure I kept "we're so back" as like my Discord status for like the next 6 months. just because it was like it was a really impactful moment. And then, you know, echoes of that with this last cycle of finishing this one where we had the most amount of acts we've had continue like in one cycle in a long time, but it was probably the cleanest on the ops side since we learned our lessons with the theme shows in Luxe and Lunacy. And so for me, that was a moment that shows we learned our lesson, we've grown, you know, we've recognized where we need people, where we need, you know, to improve, and we're not perfect, but we've worked on that. And so they're different moments, they're different environments in which they've occurred, but to me they hold the same significance of, you know, unification and growth. So Jinx.
I think my fondest moment in this group, I'd have to say it's also something that happened in Observa. For me, it's the last show that we ran in the Evergarden map was probably my fondest memory in this group, but for a very particular reason. So at that point, I was already a captain. I was an astral captain in Radiance, and I had given up my position of comet captain in Observa for a little bit because it was decided, you know, having two captain positions is probably too much for one person, and you really should pick one. And again, I feel like my skills really benefit Radiance more than they benefit Observa, as much as I adore both venues. So I ended up picking Radiance. And it's kind of funny because I'm like halfway captain in Observa still. I still help the comic captains with a lot of stuff whenever they need anything, and I chime in on stuff to help them out still because I can see their chats. Like management can see all of management's chats. It's all very open and transparent. So I'm still kind of like a captain there, but I wasn't really a captain. And during the final show that we ran in the Evergarden map before we transitioned to this map, which was a great experience and super emotional, at the end of the show, the Comets actually came on stage when I had, you know, said my final, like, it's the show's over, goodbye everyone. They actually came on stage and like, wait, no, we have one more thing for you. And I think it was Kit specifically took the mic and read out this whole speech thanking the Comet captains for everything that they do for the Comet team. And they gave like the Comet captains like roses, and they had this kudo board that had like all of these sweet messages. And the reason why this like is my fondest moment is because they included me in that. Even though I'm not an Observa captain anymore, they still consider me like one of their captains, and they still included me in that. And that was just, it was so sweet. And like I still have all of the kudo board images on my phone so that they can always be with me, because it just meant a lot to me. So I'd say that's definitely my fondest memory.
All right. See, this is always a hard one for someone on a creative side, because every single show you do is always like your dream come true. Like I helped make this place. I adopted this place because it was made before me. And to see it operate every single week, because Radiance is weekly, and if Radiance is not running, Observa's running. So we're in here. To constantly see 80 people in this every single time it runs is a dream come true every single time, because my work that I put my blood and soul into is being used. And as an artist, that means a lot to me. I'm one of those creatives that I want people to see what I do. Like I can't have a solo Minecraft world because someone doesn't get to see my house. That's the kind of way I feel. It's not every artist is that way, but for me, it definitely helps when people can see the work that I do, because I'm doing something because I want to share it. I want to do something for other people, not just me. So if I had to think of the most important and like joyful time here at Luxa Nova, I think it was definitely my contributions to making a home for this group that did not have one. These guys were essentially without a permanent home from January to June of last year, and to be able to be a part of that, because I can't take sole responsibility to that. There was a whole team. I could give names, but I don't want to miss someone, so I'm not going to. If you're watching this and you were part of that team, I appreciate you, and a shout out to you. Seriously, it means a lot. To be able to give someone this home, essentially. My headset got mad at me for some reason. There we go. And just give people a place of belonging and, you know, consistency and structure. We're still repairing this place to this day, but at least it looks the same every single time you walk in. And having a theater group that doesn't know if they're going to be on the same map every single weekend is definitely not good for them. And having that set home, just and seeing them use it every single time, even when sometimes people get, you know, a little snobby with the feedback and stuff like that, because some people just get really excited and dedicated into things. It's just really nice to see how excited people get about having a permanent spot and seeing them want to contribute and ask for additions and ask for features. It's just heartwarming every single time.
Hot cocoa.
Already developed. Literally already done.
What?
Lock and
What am I
Lock and me have a communication. It's fine.
Yeah.
Radiance gets
I
hot
would
cocoa.
hope you talk together.
Radiance doesn't
You're
get.
two-headed man. I'd
doesn't
hope you
get hot
communicate.
cocoa. He'd be jealous.
What the hell?
Radiance has hot cocoa, so
What?
yes.
No. Sometimes I'm
Oh,
like,
okay, I heard, I'm
Lock.
Hey, I do the same thing.
Before
This
you
is why
turn-
having
Yeah.
the channel shown is
I can live
beneficial.
with that. I'm good with that. It's fine with me.
You
Yeah,
get
it's
new
no, it's wrong,
projection lights
incorrect.
in the next version. The whole thing of this venue changes next show. I'm not even kidding. Everything's different.
Oh god.
See, he has no
It's you-
idea what I'm saying at all. So he just gives him the thumbs up, and he's like, as long as it works.
No, it's really simple. If look bad, me yell at him. If look good, me go like this. Very simple. Very, very simple. And he has to
Wow,
translate it.
you
It's
really
great.
work.
When me
I yell
upload
at
it, it
him.
looked good.
Yes. Look good,
To
be
be
happy.
clear, there's no actual yelling. They're just trolls.
I am incredibly loud. What are you talking about? I yell
You're
all the
loud,
time.
but yeah, but
yeah, I don't
you do
yell
it
at
with
people.
love.
It's a lie. I yelled at one person once because they were saying mean things during a practice, and I was
Oh,
like,
well,
"You will
then they
not
deserve it.
do that during my practice. That will not happen here." I had to lay down the law
That's
a
not
little
even
bit.
yelling.
but
Do you
it's
see
funny
this
now.
man?
I'm taming it down for the podcast. Okay, this is me
Okay,
being
good.
responsible about it.
Responsible. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, responsible is a strong one. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Someone's got to be here, you know?
Oh. Well, we'll ask you the last couple of questions before we wrap up. But the first one we'll ask you is,
Wait,
So-
I have a
oh,
question.
you do?
Are you gonna ask the last questions already?
There's one extra I wanted to ask as well.
Okay, you go first, and I'll ask my question.
But did you expect the journey you've been on since hopping into VR and putting on the VR headset?
Oh God.
Oh
No.
boy. Oh
Man,
god.
mine is poor Perry had no choice. No,
Yeah,
not
I got
at all.
drafted.
Yeah, wow. So, like I said, I kind of was like, I love VR. I want to try it out. I heard VRChat's a thing. Let me get a Quest 2. That's cheap. If I hate it, whatever. I'm not out too much. I can play cooking simulator or whatever the hell. So I got in and I was like, man, it's hard to make friends in here. I don't know where to meet people to talk to. And luckily, there's a world called No Time to Talk. And I ran into a group, just one person, but I had got my very first bot avatar and I felt so pretty and I was like, this is great. And I started talking to this one person, and then when all 30 people in the lobby get shoved into one room, we found each other again, and they had 2 other friends, and then they took me to a club. And then from there I met a VTuber, and then from there I started streaming as a VTuber, and then from the avatar purchase I figured out New Eden, and then we got into events, and then we got into streaming events, and then we got like wild from start to finish. No, I could not have predicted any of this. I wouldn't be a VTuber. I wouldn't know any of these lovely people. Like, I wouldn't have streamed at all. Like, just because I was like, this seems fun, and I met 3 people. Like, the butterfly effect is wild.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Not the answer you were expecting. So, did I know I'd be running a theater? Hell no. In fact, when we first started discussion going in theater direction, I told someone at the time, if I run a theater, I'm quitting. And here we are running a theater, and I've yet to quit. So I'm very behind schedule on that resignation to myself, apparently.
Don't hurry up.
Yeah, I don't plan on it, buddy. I don't plan on it anytime soon. Keep making me good shit, and we'll be good. Did I expect to be here at where I'm at with the people I'm with? Perry, yes. The rest, no. Did I expect to be something cool? Yes. And the reason for that is when I left PlanetSide, I took time to process what I liked about what I was doing, what I didn't like about what I was doing. And that's why I'm comfortable saying things like, I like being a leader, because on one hand, that does sound egotistical because center of attention, all that kind of stuff. But I would be lying if I said I didn't like it. And I don't want to do that. Right. So I like being a leader. I like doing cool things. I like pushing ground and innovating. And that wasn't always the case. Yeah, I learned a lot of some of the stuff I'm talking about from my time at New Eden and learning from them and everything. So I'll give some props where it's due on that. But like, I never, like I said earlier, I turned down an offer at another venue because I didn't think it was up to what I was wanting to do. And that was a mixture, just like the individual tasks were not up to what I was wanting to do with my time, but also it wasn't the right opportunity. And I guess I also look at VR as something that has a lot of potential, but I look at it very differently. I personally don't care if this platform goes anywhere or not. It's not relevant to me because I can't control it, so I'm not going to stress on it, right? I don't care if the VR is the future or not because I can't control that, so I'm not going to stress on it. I don't have no plans on being some great pioneer in the VR space. It's not a goal of mine, right? What I do care about is how I spend my time and how I invest that time and who I invest it in. And in that context, I'm very particular on how I'm spending my time. And this has been a good use of my time. It's been a good use of my energy and resources. I've learned a lot from it. I work with the best management team I've ever had the pleasure of working with. And it's just been phenomenal. So coming into this game, I had intentions of doing something special because as soon as I saw people dancing in this game, I knew there was something special here. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, mostly because it's VR and you can't physically touch things. But there was something special going on in this game, in the spaces going on here, people creating, in economics, we have a term called spontaneous order, which is where you just kind of pop things out of existence because people just like to organize things, right? It's how markets work and all this kind of stuff. And this game exemplifies it. Mod markets for Minecraft exemplify this kind of thing. Minecraft is built on spontaneous order, right? And this game does it too. You have so many different venues, groups, social clubs, podcast groups that do these kinds of things because they're just like, this is cool and I want to do it. And I can't think of another platform not called real life that does that in that same kind of way. So coming into the game, I really felt like there was something special here and I was going to find something special. Did I expect it to end up like this and meet the people I have and interact with the folks I have and build this thing up? No. Could not have guessed. Me being a theater kid, never really had an interest in it. I'm not gonna lie, that's news to me. But yeah, stop, you monster. But yeah, like I felt like I wanted to do something cool, and I was gonna find it. I always felt confident in that. Perry?
Yeah. I had no idea it was gonna end up being where we are, the level of just everything. When I came into things, I just very much had this mindset of I better do this good because this might be the only chance I get to do this. And, that stuck with me for probably until the end of that first year, because everything I did as I want to do this because I might not get another chance to, and that just kept jumping and spiraling into eventually what became the ops team, because just the things I wanted to do and the things I started working on were just things that needed to happen and took workload off other people. And it just naturally formed into, hey, this is super valuable, and like we need to encourage this. And everything just grew from there, like from when the ops team was formed to a year after the ops team was formed, because it formed right before, like a show or two before, the creative separation. So it was not a long time to, figure out a new system, build it from thin air. I had to figure out because I had never, because unlike I think a couple of the other people, sitting beside me, I was never in VRChat. I was never in, the club scene. I was never in any of these spaces. I never had exposure to that, or how operations of sorts ran with those groups. And I now see that as a benefit, because I came in clean slate without any, like, context to how things should be done. I just went with what felt right to me, to how an ops team should run. And so that has, you make mistakes along the road, of course, but if you had told me when I got drafted that first night in just running the show, stage managing, to that, I'd have, about 20 people under me with 3 different teams that do the 3 wildly different skill sets. And then I would have a team of people that's just doing really cool behind the scenes stuff that's super technical and that sort of deal. I would probably tell myself I'm crazy, because while I have a lot of special interests, I don't think I would tell myself that doesn't sound like all those line up quite that way, but they do. And the way they line up is incredible, and I owe it to everybody who for some reason or another thinks I'm a good person to listen to. I don't know why, but people just listen to me when I tell them to do things, and it kind of works.
No question.
But but yeah, I greatly value everyone on the ops team and everyone who's put that trust in me to give them that direction. And I didn't think 3 years ago that I would be going from planet side, running a group that people in that group didn't want to necessarily grow it or buy in, to a group that pressures me to keep going up and up and up. Like, I have that pressure underneath me to keep growing, and it's not pressure from the top down, it's pressure from the bottom up. And that's a lovely change from what I was used to before, and I didn't think at the time that I'd have that. So
my answer is going to be way simpler than all that. I'm going to be so real. No, I absolutely did not expect to be where I'm at right now when I first started playing VRChat. I'm a very solitary person in real life, for several reasons. I have a lot of difficulties in real life with socializing, which you would not believe, given my positions that I have in VRChat and the way that I interact with people in VRChat. But it's a whole complicated thing. It's a lot easier here for me. So when I started playing VRChat, I just wanted to hang out with people. I just wanted to make friends. I just wanted to be able to socialize and, just have people to be around. And that was really all I wanted when I first started. And by this point, I have achieved that, and I have achieved so much more. I have tons of friends. I have, like lifelong friends that I don't expect to be going anywhere anytime soon. And now I have like, my positions in these cool venues where I get to do cool things, and that's fantastic. So completely unexpected, but very welcome.
Mine's a doozy. If you told me that I'd be doing or have had happen anything that has happened in the last 4 years, I would call myself insane. I went from playing Final Fantasy to, being in VRChat to getting involved in a club scene, which is something I've never done in real life, to meeting someone that I'm now marrying at an after party. Like, I met someone in VRChat, started a relationship, ended up moving in with them, and now I'm marrying them because of VRChat.
Congratulations.
Because of Final Fantasy.
Indeed, congratulations.
I cannot even begin to imagine how the hell any of this happened. And honestly, I don't want to figure it out, and I don't care to find out. I'm just kind of happy that it did. Call it luck, call it skill, call it, whatever you want to call it. I'm just happy it all happened. I am marrying someone that I love to death and, is fantastic, and I get to do something creative on the side at the same time, and I couldn't ask for more, honestly.
Oh.
Can I ask my question now?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So for those of you over on the wherever you're watching this, either you're listening on Spotify or you're watching on YouTube, if you don't know, after all the conversation we literally just had, if you still don't know, Luxa Nova is a performance group here in VRChat that does some crazy, really cool dancing, performances, particles, big stage. You watched the episode, you got this far. You should have gotten that by now. I have a question for the 5 wonderful people in front of me. Would it be too much to ask if we can show the people who are watching the podcast on the video side, if you guys could showcase a little bit of stuff that you kind of would do for shows, like maybe a little bit of particles or outfits, or just a little bit on the stage behind us, if it's possible. If it's not, no worries, Lion. We'll ask the rest of the ending questions. But yeah, I just wanted to ask if that was possible for some of the viewers here on YouTube.
Banana Man.
Sorry,
No,
Spotify
Banana
users.
Man.
I don't have Banana Man,
Don't
but
subject them to that.
They were
It's
flex.
so much simpler than that.
Well-
You have an avatar with a full performance on it? That's what I
do. I have
thought.
an avatar with a full
I have-
performance?
I
No.
literally
Do I have
have
a
the
gimmick?
DMX stuff uploaded still.
Oh, okay. I'll let you do it. That's
yeah,
fine.
I can.
That's fine.
Yeah, hold on.
I'm gonna grumble and be
Oh.
petty in the corner. There he
Go
goes.
that way.
Well, he said
And
that
yeah.
Radiance is a
With
lot more
full sets
simple.
on.
We don't do huge big things like that necessarily. I previously was an Astral Captain, so that's like the actors and floor hosts. So in Radiance, we don't necessarily have big particle effects like that, but sometimes we have funny gimmicks, and I have this funny gimmick right here, which is my silly cards. And if you put your hand over it and then you do this, it has a bunch of different cards on it based off of people. You can't really see it here because it's really dark in here, but there's like 10 different cards that you can draw here. If it was brighter,
Oh.
you'd be able to see them, but Observer sucks! And their lighting sucks. I'm looking at the lock actually, but I have to give Trudy shit for that. So. Wait, there you go. There's one.
All right,
Behold,
Oh,
Jinxie.
look at
this
that one.
shiny ultra rare
You ready,
card.
Jinxie?
This is
Oh.
oh my god.
You ready?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
It's about to get cold.
Yo, we did
Oh,
this during a
no.
Radiance. Hold on. So We had a Radiance event where we put on a song. It was a Hannah Montana song, called the Ice Cream Freeze. And every single time they said freeze in that song, it played like 5 seconds of Jeopardy music, and like half of the performers from the Astrals and the Celestials all froze like that until the Jeopardy music stopped and the normal music started again. So they froze like this like 20 times throughout the song, and then they froze for a little bit at the very end until I came out and reprimanded the stars like, hey, we have an event to finish. Can you like unfreeze everyone, please? So we do stuff like that in Radiance. It's a lot of fun.
Oh.
Yeah, and just to really stress on this too, like absolutely Observa does the big particle effects and all that kind of stuff when we have our storytelling and everything. Radiance is a completely different experience, and like if you are here for the particle effect stuff and the cool stage performances in the theater, absolutely come to Observa. But I think everyone should check out Radiance too. I love partying at Radiance. It's a phenomenal time. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because the staff loves me, or I hope they do at least. Some of them really don't. It's hilarious. No, I've stressed people out talking about certain topics in there, which I always find interesting. And I've told Jinx, like, hey, if I'm making someone uncomfortable because of the topic I'm bringing up, please tell me and I will shut up. Nothing bad, just stings people want to hear in VR chat usually. Yeah, I like politics. I like politics a lot. So, yeah, edgy shit. But really, like, Radiance is a whole different vibe. It is a social environment. Their floor house Astral team is hosting games, running the bar, interacting with guests, making you feel really immersed in the space. The go-go dancers, the Celestials as they're called, are up there on their dancing spaces, interacting with the audience, go-go dancing, really giving a good show. It really feels like a catered, active party environment. Really like you're going to like some kind of nightclub or something. It really pushes that vibe, which is a very different experience than what you're seeing here. One thing we like to say is that here you are kind of watching the lore happen. You're brought into it here and there, but ultimately this is a theater show. You are in it at like Radiance. You are engaged in it. You are talking to performers who are playing their in-lore characters and playing up those aspects of stuff. Locke, what you got?
Another thing is you see a lot of these characters and performers on stage here at Observer Theater, but like Trudy just said, at Radiance, you can be a part of that story and interact with some of the people that you've seen at Observa. Our characters at Observer Theater are sometimes at the Radiance Lounge.
Cool.
So that's something to consider.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both exist in the same space.
Yep.
Yeah, we're all on the same space station, which you can see the
One
planet
is
up above.
watching and one is being within, essentially, is the best way to put it.
Yep.
Perry looks so ready.
Oh,
Perry's got his
I'll
phone
turn the
out.
camera.
I've been
Come
talking for
on.
like 5 minutes.
He's prepared.
Alright. So where should we go for it so we can show the viewers
honestly,
better?
Chairs, and
Okay,
just look
chairs.
around.
I will sit
Yeah, right
next
here, honestly.
to friend Look. Oh, I guess friend Look is going away. I'll sit next to
was
friend
just like,
Zoe.
I'm gonna give you guys room.
Yeah, you guys can take room.
I'm gonna give you guys room.
I'm gonna stay here and sit next to Asterix.
Observer looks so good.
Yeah.
Oh, and make sure you have your world volume turned on and avatar volume turned on. Yeah.
Transmissions jammed. Proximity coverage only.
Warning. Your division affiliation has been disavowed. You are now marked as rogue.
Flashback to the game.
Yeah, cheesy is so amazing.
You blinded yourself in complacent beliefs. Your broken heart led you to me. I am the only one who matters. John McNair.
Oh.
Videos are so funny.
Everything's just flashing.
Yeah, like all the effects are going off, everything's flashing. It's so funny.
Lock,
Flashbang
was there
through
an
the door.
update to the lighting
Come
rig
back and sit down.
recently? Because I feel like the lights look just extra delicious.
The manual rig, which is the one that's up now, yes. This one that Perry's controlling with buttons and changing the colors of. That's the manual one. But the DMX rig that you just saw has not changed. No.
Really?
Push it
I
over a
just
bit.
feel like we
Bring
don't
the player back in
use
here.
it very much. Yeah.
Come on in, buddy.
We
It
don't.
takes a lot of time to make those performances.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah,
so
DMX.
good.
Oh.
Sorry.
Good. No, you're good.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you good?
I had to find my chair. I had to find my chair.
You're good. The tracking says not.
Oh my god, this keeps listening to
Yeah,
the
so if
Um,
you guys over at home or wherever you're watching the podcast, if you wanna see the performance with the light and the actual people like doing the stuff up there on the stage, come to Lux Nova events. You can join their group. Again, all their links, everything in the description as I mentioned earlier. Yeah. Thanks for showing us cool light.
Well, thank you. That was really cool. Thank you very much. So the last questions we'll ask before we end this up is the names used in VRChat. Where'd it come from and why do you use them?
Oh. Okay.
Oh boy.
Do you want the
This is
official
ready.
answer or?
I knew this one was coming. Give him the real one.
Okay, so the real reason is when I had to rebuy Minecraft because I didn't have my original thing to port over, Enderman had just come out and I thought they were really cool, so my name was Ender Queen. Then I lost that account and had to buy it again. You're welcome, Microsoft. And then but I obviously couldn't get that account back, so the name was taken. So I was like, okay, well, I like alliteration a bit more, so I went with Ender Empress. I've since made it actually make sense in my VTuber lore, but 100% Minecraft.
Wow, I had no idea. So for me, I was really into Star Wars back in the day. Really, I was like one of my fixations was really into Star Wars. I was one of those kids that would spend 3 or 4 hours on a night looking at Wikipedia, diving into random lore bits. And now I do that for Warhammer. So it's really just shifted to a darker addiction, more grimdark addiction. But I was like, I need like a cool name I need a cool like Star Wars-esque name. Well, it's like the Sith because they're the cool guys, of course, they're the good guys. And I'm like, what would line up with like Darth Sidious, Darth Vader, Darth Trudius sounds. Dude, I'm like 15. I'm edgy.
No.
Darth Trudius sounds cool. And then I never used it. The funniest part is I never used it. I threw it in my bio on Xbox Live. Xbox Live Go, shout out. Back in the old days. And I never used it. And I ran under the name Husky Man 1 or One Husky Man because of a sports team for like every game across the board until I made a character in Planet Side. And I screwed up making the character because I named the account Husky Man 1 because I was thinking that was the character. And I was like, oh my God, I never played an MMO before. And I was like, wait, I can have multiple characters. That's crazy. What do I name this other character? Well, name him Trudius. Because why not? I got that name around. Ain't no one's using that name. We'll go with Trudius. And then that account became like the username I was known for online because I got into like the guild space and all that kind of stuff on Planet. This was in like 2012, mind you. I got into it there. And then tried to go back to the Husky Man name when I got into League and all this kind of stuff. And eventually like, dude, like my IRL friends know me as Husky or my actual name or whatever, but everyone online like knows me. Like 3 years after leaving PlanetSide, people still knew me as Trudius the most. So I just converted everything over and just went with that.
I think I was 8. I had a stuffed parrot named Perry. I was very creative with my name when I was 8.
I love this lore.
And
I'm learning
yeah,
so
so
much.
I was 2 Perry 2, and then people started associating it with Perry the Platypus, and I was like, you know what? I'm going with this bit. I'll commit to this bit, and it just so happened I really like the light, blue aqua kind of color scheme, and it just kind of worked. So, to this day, I am rich in nickels for every single time I meet someone, and their instinctual reaction is to go, Perry the Platypus, and I could just go, ah, shit, here we go again.
I love that it's not from Perry the Platypus, though. I always thought
I
it
know,
was. The
that's what
fact that
makes
it was
it
some
better.
random
That's so
parrot you
good.
had or whatever, or some stuffed parrot is so much better. That's so much better.
It makes it even better because when I meet people from VR IRL, Perry is such like just an actual name that people think my actual name is Perry, and like honestly, I wish at this point it is. At this point, I respond to my actual name, my Perry, more than I do anything else. But yeah, I know. Like one of our performers, Psychum, literally met me, heard me say my actual name, and they were just shocked that it wasn't Perry. Like they were actually mind blown.
I remember that.
Not everyone can be Tom.
Yeah, everyone can be Tom, yeah. Or Amy, yeah, something like that.
But it's really funny with my name being, with people assuming my IRL name is Perry and then assuming Perry is Perry the Platypus, and so my entire identity is built on people's assumptions, basically, of who I am, and I just kind of go, and me just continuously committing to the bit. Quite literally, it's just me continuing to commit to the bit because I like chaos.
Real. When I was in like middle or high school, I played this very old and most likely extremely obscure like MMO fighting game called Lost Saga, and I had a friend who had an account with way more stuff than I did on it, and I was always like, man, I wish I had all of that. Well, at some point he stopped playing the game, and I didn't stop playing the game, so I asked him like, hey, can I use your account since you're not using it anymore? And he was like, yeah, sure. And he gave me the information. So I kind of started using that account a lot, and he never used it again. So that account kind of became my identity, and that account was called Sojinxi. So, I just kind of
became his identity. That's amazing. That is the best one I've ever heard. That's it. That's so good. That's so good. I love this story. Oh my god, that's so much better than mine. That is so much better than mine. Holy, that's so good. Oh, that's so funny.
Interesting.
Just straight up identity theft.
I'm so ready
just straight up. Hey, can I just be you since you're done being you? Yeah, that's fine. Go for it. I want to be you so much. I'll just be you.
You have too big of a skill issue. I need to remedy this.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so good.
Oh, good. All right, Locke, what's yours?
Oh god, mine is so stupid. Oh, it's so much less important than you guys think it is. Okay, for context, I've been playing video games since I was like 2. I used to play Doom 2 on my dad's lap, and I would be moving the character with WSAD, and my dad would hold the mouse. Like I've been with computers my entire life, which is why I do what I do now. And usernames didn't really make sense to me. I used to yell at people on Facebook for having the same name because I thought they were taking other people's names online because I didn't think that other people on Facebook were using unique names. Yeah, I wasn't the brightest kid back then. So I used to literally use the default name that Steam gave me when I made my own Steam account. That was literally new name 9. New name 9 because I was the 9th one. And I used that for like 10 years. I'm not even kidding. Until I ran across a game called Crisis Wars. And the Crisis Wars is a pretty good tactical shooter, and I had joined a squad where I was purposely, my whole job was to go into the enemy base and steal their vehicles so that they would not respawn. I was that dirtbag. That was my whole job, was to make the enemy team not have vehicles and just hold on to them. And to do that, you need a lockpick. And I had a very, very, very Scottish team leader. And he would just scream, "Lucky!" at the top of his fucking lungs in TeamSpeak 3. Like, it was so low bit rate and everything. And it was as bad as you could be. And because of that, they just started giving me the nickname Loch Ness, even though my name was New Name 9. And I just kept it. It used to be LOCKNESS. And I was like, I don't like the look of this. And I removed a C. And that is all that went into it. And then I kind of just adopted the personality of the lake monster, the Loch Ness monster, because people actually saw me as that name. People call me Loch now, even in real life. It's kind of funny how you can just pick up a random identifier because you think it's funny one day and you might change it next week, and it becomes your identity even in real life. Like, sometimes my fiance even calls me my username.
That's amazing. Oh my god.
Oh, and me and Perry do that all the time. Like me and Perry have each other added on LinkedIn. Like we know, like, he's been in my apartment before, and like when we meet, like, we're gonna get lunch on Monday together because he's gonna be in town, and he's still gonna call me Trudy, and I'm still gonna call him Perry. Probably. I don't know. I might drop his real name to surprise him. We'll see.
Same. The people I've met, I know their name and I don't care.
I wouldn't even think we're gonna think about it, and then we're just gonna. It's just gonna be name. It's just gonna be whatever first thing pops into our head, whatever name that is.
Yeah, a few years back, a bunch of us went to a convention called 2DCon in Minneapolis, and one of the big talking points that we were kind of having going into the thing was like, are we using our online names or our real names? And initially, everyone was like, most people were like, I want to use my real name, and I'm like, dude, I'm around a bunch of nerds. I want to use my in-game name, like, in case I meet someone there who needs to, like, I might interact with online or whatever. I want to use my in-game name, and then no one used their real names. Like, no one did. Everyone's used their in-game names, and then that's just continued on. So, like, the last time we went there, we had like 30 people or something with us.
Can you imagine,
and
like,
it was
the
the same,
regular people walking by and you're like, "Hey, Lamp, come here."
yeah, literally. Hey, Trudy, come here. Grandma name, literal grandma name I have here. It's hilarious. Hey, Perry the platypus, come here.
Again, my name's so normal, it doesn't even sound out of place. So, like, I kind of get a pass on that one.
Yeah, valid.
And the avatars you're in, where did you get it? Why to use it? Is there anything about it that means anything to you?
This is my persona. Hello. So like I said, I'm a VTuber. This is the 3D version. I am an android, hence the cool little body panels. They technically do things, but I'm not that skilled, so they don't do it live. And I now have the skills to put outfits on, but this is my current Luxa Nova dress. I can do things. Wait, look. I'm so proud of this. I'm sorry. I was literally showing
You're
this
such a
earlier.
dork. You're such a
I'm
dork.
I'm so excited about it, guys. Why can't
So
I?
now she's matching with me. Perfect. There we go. All right, matches the venue now.
Wait, no.
Now she
This is
doesn't.
purple. This is blue.
Yeah, I know. I was
You
saying
want me
when
to
you
match
were
you?
blue.
I'll match you, Trudy.
No, get away from me. Get away from me.
Yeah, this is my VTuber persona. So. Aw, you love me.
Oh, it is too late for this.
So I dress business casual at my workplace, and I just like dressing business casual in general, but business casual at work. I work in tech, so it's really like Hawaiian shirts and that kind of stuff. I went into the office the other day. I had a jacket on over a shirt, and they're like, "Oh, that's such a cute floral design. Can I see the full event?" I open my shirt, and it's tequila shots and tacos. And I'm like, it's not a floral shirt, but I appreciate. But yeah, I wear the taco shirt to work. Yeah. HR's cleared it, so I'm fine. I was a little bit worried, but they're like, yeah, we're all adults here, it's fine. But I like a business vibe. Usually, I'm wearing some kind of suit or something like that, or I'll get it retextured to like I have like a Santa Claus version. I have like a full out like a obnoxious as hell America fit version, all that kind of stuff. The Avi is just an old. I do have a miniskirt version. Yep, with high heels and everything. Yep, that's my rave fit. It's my rave outfit. It's just an old New Eden Abbey that I've just like carried on through. So.
I bought a bunch of pieces off of Gumroad and Booth, and I commissioned one of our performers who made the outfit. And I, for the most part, I just tailored everything to how I wanted and bashed it together myself. With help from a couple of people who taught me some Unity stuff and Blender pitfalls to not fall into. So, yeah, I generally just like really fancy stuff I wish I could wear IRL, but A, I don't have the body for it, and B, I don't have the outfits for it. Working in a engineering and a machine in like an industrial environment, that stuff would get destroyed or dirty real quick, and I wouldn't want to do that. But yeah.
Oh.
This is my Radiance outfit. I'm a gigantic Booth dork. I really love anime aesthetics, so Booth is just a very, very good fit for me. Also, it's really, really easy to work with, which is great. But I, of course, did all of the like material work and the texture work on this to make it fit within Radiance's theme. So, I have a lot of Booth models, and you know, anybody who gets into Booth has 5 million Booth models. I'm sorry, that's just the law of like anyone who's on Booth. It's just how it goes. But I typically will gear them towards whatever venue I'm working in. Like my host Abby for Observa is another Booth model, but it's entirely different vibe. It's great.
As for me, like I said before, I'm not a huge fan of avatar development. It just doesn't work with my brain. I do mostly world development stuff. This is Parker by Kitty Z, and it's just a really optimized, avatar that comes with mediums, very pores, opties, everything. It has several different outfits on it, casual outfits and everything. So I kind of just have one avatar that I just really vibe with, has really distinct features, especially for a male avatar, because it's really hard to find.
Yeah.
Please, avatar
Amen.
creators, make more good male avatars, especially with face tracking. Please, I beg you. There's people that will buy your stuff. Please do
GMs
it.
are really nice.
And I just really vibe with this avatar. If I'm not in this avatar, I'm in a volley, but this is my human form.
Chicken nugget.
Oh. Well,
Small bird.
thank you all so very much for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure getting to meet and hear your story. So thank you very, very much. Oh,
Yeah, of course.
Thank you
for
guys.
having us.
Appreciate
It
it.
was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
oh.
fantastic stuff.
And if the audience wishes to reach out and find you, wherever they find you.
Twitch. Everywhere. No one took my name. Isn't that wonderful? It's literally Ender Empress. Wherever you can find Ender Empress, I'm there.
For me, obviously Luxa Nova stuff. Treatius.gg on Blue Sky. Be aware I post a lot of politics. This is your warning. I don't want any complaining on my mentions. Yeah, and then I'm on Discord server. Good luck. It's a mess.
Wild West.
I got obviously Lux Nova, which is if you go to lux-nova.com, you guys have it linked. You can find all the social information for Lux Nova. I have a Blue Sky, which I use once in a blue moon, or this idiot tags me in something. Yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. I keep a low profile.
Oh.
I honestly don't use social media outside of Discord a whole lot. I guess if you wanted to come watch me stream random games, you could come follow my VTuber account, which is LyriaCat, twitch.tv/LyriaCat. Come watch me be a dork and crash into planets on Outer Wilds again.
She's real good.
I don't know
Good
about
at crashing?
What?
Yeah.
Go get a crash out.
No, she's a good VTuber.
Good cover up. Good save.
And as for me, I don't have many social media as well. I'm Lockness on Twitter and Instagram. You're actually more likely to follow me or to see me on my fiance social, which is Bookieson _ on literally every single platform.
Oh, well,
Yay!
we'll
So
make sure
if
to
you
have.
wanna find all those stuff in the bottom of description or on Spotify, it's somewhere. You gotta adventure. What do you usually say?
If you go down to the YouTube description, we have everything linked there for you to find. Spotify will be the same place, same label, except you have to go to the episode description to find it. But it'll all be there for you to copy paste in your browser, easy to quick to find.
Yeah,
Everything
what
be
he
all labeled
said.
out for you. Yeah. And with that
I
being
just work here.
with that being said, we're going to interact with you, the audience. Instead, we'll say this: Alexa, explain the game. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
You can't do that.
Oh, I did.
The game because of that. What the hell?
Ignore Trinity's He lost the game and he's
Why do you
salty
have
about
to do
it.
this?
Oh my gosh, dude, I can't believe it.
God damn, this box drives. Left turn. Take another left turn. And another left turn. I'm doing a circle jerk. Whoops. I shouldn't have said that out loud. What the hell? Whee!